Hello and welcome to my channel Making Crafts. Today I'm going to show you how I make the cover for this Dreamy Florals Z-Fold mini album journal that I've made. And for this one I have used Linedotarrow's Anniversary Kit as well as her Ephemera Kit, and it's her newest Ephemera Kit. And I will link both of those below. In the upper right hand corner of this video I will link to the video showing how I made this journal. For the cover, we are going to be using chipboard, and this is just a 12 by 12 piece of chipboard, and I buy these in a pack off of Amazon, and it'll only take one sheet to make this cover, and these chipboards last a long time because it doesn't take that many per cover each time that you make one. And so for this one, I'm going to cut two pieces at 5.5 by 9. And so to cut this, what I do is I will just cut back and forth several times, and then I'll bend it, and then I'll cut from the back side to get all the way through to the other side. As you can see, I'll break it loose just a little bit, and then I'll turn it over and cut, and it'll come right loose. And so then when you're done cutting your two pieces that are 5.5 by 9, you're going to be left with a couple of little pieces, and you can just save those to make journaling cards or different little pieces for your journal if you'd like. And then you'll have a 1-inch strip left, and you just want to cut that down to 9 inches tall. So that will be your spine and your two cover pieces. Then I'm just going to take two pieces of paper that's 8.5 by 11. And this is a 110-pound cardstock and is white, and you're going to see later on that I totally changed my mind. As I get to making this, I realized that I do not want a white cover, because at first I thought I would have a white cover and then I would just really decorate it up. But the more I made the journal, the more I realized I needed to go back and change the cover. So you're going to see in the end how I do go back and change it. I do show you how I do that. But to get started, in order to use the two 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, I'm just using some score tape or some double-sided tape, and I'm just applying that to the edge of one of the sheets. Then I attach them together to make one big sheet of paper to use as my cover. So I'm going to use some double-sided tape to adhere the covers to the paper, and so I'm just doing one side at a time. And you make this cover like any other normal hardbound cover for like a mini album or journals. They all are pretty much the same. But I thought I would walk you through the process just in case that if you're new to making journals or new to making mini albums, this way you can see how I did make the cover for this journal. You want to be sure to score your tape really good with your bone folder so that it adheres down really well. And then if you don't score it down really good, then when you go to pull the strips off of the glue, it's going to pull the tape up. So you want to start with your spine, and you want to center your spine over the piece where we have taped together. And ideally you want to make sure that on the outside that you have where the pieces overlap the strip, you want to have it down the center of your spine. You will see when I flip this one over that I did not pay attention where I had it so wide that didn't happen for this, but that's okay because I was going to cover it with fabric anyway, but I'm also going to go back and cover it again later with new paper because I didn't want to go with the white. So when I decided how far to have the spine from the back cover, I was just using a piece of the chipboard to determine the width, and I try to make it just a little bit bigger than the width of the chipboard, so it's about 1/8 of an inch gap. And so I just do the same thing for the front and back cover. Then I just take my bone folder and I score along the edge of the chipboard all around on all four sizes, and that helps to start breaking in the cardstock. And then I'll also take my bone folder and I'll start smoothing on the outside of the chipboard and the paper just to give it a little bit more, just to get it started on being able to fold over smoothly. So then I'm also going to use some double-sided tape along with some glue to glue these flaps over. So I put strips of tape and then I leave a gap and I'll add glue in that gap. And I'm just doing that to have two different types of adhesives to make sure that it doesn't let go. I like for my covers to be super strong. This cover is super covered and super strong. It's got double paper now, and you'll see at the end, like I said, how I change it out. You want to take your scoring tool and be sure to score in the creases where the gaps between the front cover and the back cover along the spine before you fold your book together so that you can get the paper ready to fold and you don't crack your spine. And then I just cut another piece about 3 inches wide. And I didn't really do a specific size here. I cut it around 3 inches wide. And this is going to just cover my spine. And just I'm working on covering the inside of the journal, the inside of the cover. And so I am adding some double-sided tape as well as some glue just to make sure that this really stays put. So once I have the piece glued down, once again, I take my scoring tool and I score along where the gap is between the spine and the front cover and the spine and the back cover. And I slowly work it trying to close the cover. And you slowly want to do this so you don't tear or you don't ruin your paper that's on the outside and inside. So you just want to slowly score it. And then I'm just adding a piece to cover the inside of the cover. And so my whole thoughts was that I was going to use the white to trim around, and so I was leaving a gap here so that the white would trim around the paper as well as be a white cover. But then, as colorful as all these papers were and how beautiful they were, I decided that I definitely needed to use one of the papers from the kit to cover the outside. So here you see After I changed my mind, I went ahead and printed on one side 2 identical sheets from the kit. And so what I'm doing is the same thing as I did at the beginning, but this time I realized that since the spine is so small, I only needed one piece of the double-sided tape, and then I added a little glue. And so you can see I'm filling here to see where the 2 pieces connect on that side so that I can center my album over that so that the line will go down the spine instead of over to the side or onto the cover. So once again, I'm adding some double-sided tape to the cover, and then I will add a bit of glue, and then I will attach it to the new sheets that I have created. And once again, I'm feeling for where that the other paper on the outside overlaps so that I can center my spine right over it so that the line goes right down the middle of the spine. And I apologize for that mat going crooked all the time. I need to figure out a way to get that mat to stay put. It is always sliding around as I'm crafting, but I like to use it to protect my table, but it does move around a lot, and so hopefully it doesn't bother you too much being crooked in the video. So once again, I am using my scoring tool just to press on the inside and outside of the album on each side, and I'm just scoring the paper and so that it will bend more gently and not tear it or cause any buckles or ripples in it. And then I cut the corners across. You don't want to cut all the way up to your corner or you'll have a gap there, but I'm cutting very close, about 1/8 of an inch away from the corner. And then I'm pressing again, and I just slowly press and work it. You don't want to force this. Just slowly work the paper folding over your cover so that it will be nice and smooth and crisp on your corners and on your edges. And then I add some double-sided tape as well as some glue, and then I'm just pressing it over. And I was so much more happy with this paper that I put on it versus having just the white. And this is gorgeous paper, and so I realized I needed to use it for the cover as well. And I absolutely love this sheet of paper that's in the kit. And so I thought that it really transformed the cover and made it into something even more beautiful. So now I'm just scoring the gaps between the spine and the front and back cover just to gently close the book up and so that it won't tear or buckle or cause any issues. As you can see when I turned it sideways, when I was talking about how the papers met, you can see that the paper goes directly down the spine. So you can see the line going down the spine and it's centered pretty nicely there. And so I love when it turns out that way. Even though I am going to cover it with lace. And so you can see that in the video before this one where I do create the journal. I do show you how I decorate it and add lace to the spine. So I will link that in the description below, and I will link it here on the left hand side. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and bye.